Hello. Welcome to Season 10 of The Horrific Podcast. We're two friends who live in different places but share a love for scary movies. In each episode, we both watch the same movie on our own and then record a conversation together about what we liked, what we hated, if we were scared, and maybe even some larger truths about why people watch horror movies in the first place. This season, our theme is Because We Have the Microphone. And because we have the microphone, you will listen as we discuss a bunch of movies that we just kind of feel like watching with no rhyme or reason. Think of it as a collection of movies that we've referenced a lot in previous seasons or been curious about for a long time. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the episode. Tonight, on a very special edition of The Horrific Podcast. Happy Halloween.
Dude, that sound is so good.
Been practicing.
No, like legit. That I thought something was playing on my on my computer.
Yeah.
Dang, that was good.
Well, I know, like somebody should really sponsor us. Like maybe Real Good. Yep. The app that makes your streaming experience real good.
So good.
But yeah, we are here on Halloween. And we are doing an unannounced, unofficial episode. It has nothing to do with Season 10, but it is our 2021 Halloween special. And we felt like it was only appropriate that we review the movie Halloween Kills, which is, I think, still in theaters, but definitely still available on Peacock for streaming.
You're dang right. It feels good. It's just like it was meant to be.
Yeah, it
Halloween
all
Kills.
kind of lined up.
Yeah, it's almost like they plan putting Halloween out shortly before Halloween.
Yeah, let's not give them that much credit, though.
Yeah.
So, did you stream this one?
I did, yeah.
So, we went and saw it at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Really?
Yeah, and I was actually pretty excited about it, because seeing a high-budget horror movie in a theater with, you know, the surround sound and like the other people around reacting to it and everything is just kind of like a perfect way to usher in the fall. So I was really happy to have the opportunity to do that.
You know, I probably should have seen this in theaters, but well, I guess I still got time. Yeah.
But you also got an infant, so I get it.
You should be quiet during it.
Yeah. But yeah, so the first thing I wanted to bring up about it, and I did not do my normal intro because, one, I'm lazy. This isn't a normal Season 10 episode. I'm not putting full Season 10 effort in here.
Right.
But I took my notes on an order card from Alamo, but it was dark.
Really?
So they're real messy and hard to read and brief. So I will read a few of them throughout the episode. Just for the sheer ridiculousness. But I do have a thing I want to talk about that has nothing to do with this movie and everything to do with one of the trailers that played before it. But as I understand it, because we're professionals who do prep work, you have some fun facts for this one.
I do have a fun fact for this one.
Well, what did you learn about this movie?
So, in the original movie, Annie Brackett looks after Lindsay on Halloween. Lindsay is, you know, the young girl she's watching. That actress, her name is Kyle Richards, who played Lindsay, is in this film too, who plays grown-up Lindsay. Did you know that? Jamie Lee Curtis is not the only one that returns. Apparently a couple of them did, but I kind of stopped, you know. Come on. This movie, apparently, it's not just a slasher. Co-writer Danny McBride, wanted the movie to have a message about fear, and they said this is more about the unraveling of a community into chaos. It's about how fear spreads virally, basically, is what they wanted with this one, because it's interesting, you know, how they picked it up to show like how much it's affected communities and stuff, and that's what they were trying to show here.
It's definitely the focus of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And so those are the facts that I have for the film.
Very nice. So I actually did know about that actress being in this one because at Alamo, they did an amazing, like, pre-show special thing where they got one of the guys who has been part of Master Pancake, which is the group of comedians that, like, roast movies live, which is no longer happening because the theater, the Alamo location where it was happening, closed due to COVID and is not going to reopen. But they do have a Twitch stream now, so if you are interested, you can check out Master Pancake on Twitch. But they got one of the guys from that to do this, like, video short thing in the beginning where he sort of, like, catches you up on Halloween. And so he goes through sort of the important plot points from Halloween 1 and 2 as well as from Halloween from 2018, and just kind of catches you up, points out, you know, who's coming back, who did we see before, what are some of the things that were consistent between the movies, what were some of the things that changed plot-wise, and, you know, different actors and stuff, but it was all, like, super funny and some trivia worked in and stuff. So I don't know if that's available out there, but if it is, it's totally worth watching, because I had intended to rewatch the new Halloween from a couple years ago before this one, and then I didn't. But then after seeing this, I was just like, oh, that was even better than just watching that movie would have been, because it brought in the old ones as well. So
yeah, we did that with family. That's what we so I think this movie came out on Friday on Peacock, and we watched the last one that just came out, the Halloween 2018. And we watched that one, and we watched this one, but we had watched Halloween 1 and 2 just since it's October.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so it kind of worked out for us.
Yeah, but that really got me pumped to watch this movie, because they worked in a lot of the scenes from the 2018 one, and I had forgotten how brutal it actually was. There was a lot of just real in-your-face horror violence,
yeah,
which I'm kind of unaccustomed to seeing in more modern kind of blockbuster type Hollywood horror movies.
Which, you know, one of the things too, in reading this, was saying that this one has even higher kill count.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's supposed to be more brutal than the first one. I don't know how you measure something like that, but
yeah. So it was interesting. I was very pumped up for it, and then when it was starting, when it was opening, I saw the Blumhouse short, like the logo sequence, and I had no idea that they were involved, and so that got me really excited too. And then, you know, they had the fonts in the credit were just kind of like that throwback, you know, like everything I feel like was being set up very well. And then they started with that, like, long 70s kind of flashback towards the beginning, and I was like, okay, I'm here for this. And then I proceeded to really not like the rest of the movie.
I was going to say, though, there's something funny about how it's almost like a comfort to watch a Halloween movie that's a Halloween franchise movie, just like a new one. Like, because it's almost like you know it, so you know the music, you know the themes, you know all that. It's like I almost had like a comfort feeling watching this, and thinking of like the concepts. It's like, oh, that's kind of actually strange. Well, I wasn't a huge fan of it either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I think that my main issue with it was kind of what you were talking about before, where the focus was much more on like the community and how would they react, what would be the lasting impact of something like a Michael Myers event occurring there, and then, you know, in the future as the people are aging and it's kind of become more urban legend, you know, what impact did it have on the town, and then how did that like kind of turn them or allow them to become sort of that mob mentality, kind of ruled by fear, doing bad things.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but as we've said a number of times, all I want from a horror movie is a guy with a knife who can't die. Mm-hmm. And we definitely had that in this one, but it wasn't the focus of this one, and I found that extremely frustrating.
Yeah, that was it was almost like it was almost like it was a collage of just like random things happening.
Yes.
You know, so it was like it starts, it goes back to, you know, 1978, and then you have the sheriff who, there's just too many moving parts for it. And I not to put too much emphasis on this, but ever since having a kid, it's like you can't just sit down and just watch it anymore. Like, you gotta be doing something. So it's like, is this my problem? And so we watched it 2 times just so I could make sure that I was like, well, the first time I was like, I don't know, helping him stop crying or whatever. But no, it's true. I felt the same way after rewatching it. It's not bad. It just wasn't.
Well, and I saw it in a theater, so I had no distractions.
Yeah.
I had nothing else going on, but I still had the same impression of it. And I felt like Twitter wrote some of the dialogue. Like, people were trying to say things to be snappy just to be snappy, but I'm like, that doesn't actually mean anything or make any sense. Like, what's going on here? And I mean, it definitely. So one of the things in my notes was all the blood / brutal, which was a positive. It's really hard to read, but it's there on my little order card. So this movie did definitely have some epic, kind of Michael Myers, like when he was coming out of the house in the beginning and was slaughtering the firemen. That was just crazy. And that was him kind of up close and personal. Like, this guy survived the trap and now he is on his revenge tour. And that just, I was so hyped. You know what I mean? Like, I really liked that moment in the movie, and I thought it was filmed really well, and I thought it was pulled off just really, really compellingly all the way around. And then you get towards the end of the movie, and then they're just talking about how really, Michael is just trying to go home. Like, all of a sudden, he's not an evil force to inspire terror anymore, or trying to humanize him or something. And I'm like, I feel like this movie just kind of fundamentally misunderstood what Michael Myers was and tried to point to the other things being worse than him. And I just, it didn't do it for me.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't agree any more than I do with that, because it's going along with I felt like this was just a collage of scenes. It definitely, like you're saying, seemed like it was the dialogue was written off of Twitter comments, just frustrating, trying to make you feel for a guy who is a killer, which was strange. Going into something specific about this that I think is just the kind of the epitome of what happened, or of this film, is when Michael goes back to his house and those guys are there, and Candy dealt with the kids who were messing with the house or whatever. Long story short, Michael's upstairs, and I think the guy's name who he kills is named Michael in real life. I don't know his character's name, but at the house, the house owner, he says, "Oh, you just want to come back home," and then Michael just starts walking towards him, and he it cuts to just seeing the outside of the house and the guy screaming. But what I immediately thought of was the same guy playing the character in Austin Powers, who was looking down a long hall as a really slow thing was rolling, and he was just screaming. I don't think it's the same actor, but it might as well been.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it's wait, you could have just left, man. You could have just walked out or fought back. Come. It would just immediately went from oh, you just come out. Oh, wait, what are you doing? And it's what do you mean, what are you doing, you dumbass? It's Michael. He's trying to kill, he killed people, and you got killed. That's on you. It was just a stupid scene, I guess, is where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I'm not really that mad at it. I was just oh, that was Austin Powers right there all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one review that on IMDb that I thought summed it up well, because the headline of it is, "Well, the music score is nice, 3 out of 10."
Yeah, it was just it was a bit of a bummer. They were just trying to put too much in.
And I think it was probably worse for us as big fans of the original.
That's true.
because they definitely tried to like alter some storylines and like introduce some new stuff that wasn't there before, but it was really only put in there to allow them to build out the story that they wanted to build it, not to develop the character, the one that we care about, you know, like the guy with the knife who can't die. And so, I don't know, the last line of my notes was, society is the real killer, and I think that's what the whole movie was going for.
Yeah. Listen, I'm okay with underlying tones in films, believe it or not. But, like, this is just too obvious. Like, we get what you're saying with this. We're here as fans of Halloween franchise. We're here just to see Michael kill and not die.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even, like, yeah, Laurie was in this film, but, like, vaguely.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bit. There's so many things that I felt like the first Halloween, or the one that came out in 2018, I felt like they did right, that this one just, like, it's almost like they purposely missed some of the things. Like, they just, maybe they had so long to work on the 2018 one, and they didn't for this, but it's just like, why put out something? Why half-ass it?
Yeah.
You know, and
the 2018 one felt much more kind of true to what made the originals good.
Yeah.
Whereas I felt like this one was just kind of using that as the backdrop for a different story that they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but that's never going to land with us, you know. So.
I see right through you, Danny McBride.
Yeah. Another part of my notes that I can almost read is humor, and followed by a giant question mark. And I think what I intended to convey there was that I felt like the humor, there was a little bit of humor in the previous one that I think landed and was good for kind of like diffusing the tense moment before like more terrible stuff happens. Whereas I felt like there was a lot of attempted humor in this one that just didn't really land.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was almost like distracting, because then it's like, oh, was that supposed to be a joke? Wait, now I'm thinking about the quality of the writing and am not lost in the movie. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. And I think the thing as well is, like, once they got into like, how is society going to deal with this situation? That's when we're going to have, like, you know, in 10 years, we're going to have another Halloween movie come out where Michael actually dies, and they, like, do an autopsy, and they're like, oh, the reason why he didn't die after all those stabbings and shootings and burned is because of this, whatever, tumor. You know, like, they're just getting too in depth. This movie concept is very simple. There's a guy who can't die, unstoppable, that's going and terrorizing people. That's what the story is.
No one is asking you to service deconstructed Michael Myers.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, we're not here for that. So, and I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. The original Halloween is one of my all-time favorite movies. That's I'm not just saying horror. I'm saying movies. Like, I love it. And it's just a letdown to see, you know, this kind of happen, that it's almost like a defenseless situation where, like, John Carpenter can't do anything about it. It was like a perfect storm where, and I was looking so forward to it too. I think was the other thing. Like, it came out, Siblings Day, we're watching this film, let's do it. And it was just, you know, I think we all kind of felt the same after it was done. Like, man, thank God that's kind of over with.
Yeah. It's rare that I'm excited to leave. But I don't know.
I'm out.
Yeah. So, but I did get to eat a lot of popcorn. It was delicious. So, you know,
I didn't even get to do that.
Not a terrible night, but anyway. Yeah. So, you know, swing and a miss. If they do another one in this series, I doubt that I would pay to see it in a theater. I would probably watch it once it's free.
Well, I think
if it comes out for free streaming soon, then, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's confirmed already, and I can't remember the name of it at this moment, but it's something tied into, like, the Halloween kills, Halloween dies, or something like that. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. You guys need to watch this because it's Halloween. We got to. We've watched the Halloween 3s in this series. You know, we've seen it. You got to watch it for yourself and make the decision of what you think. And if you love it, cool. Tell us why you love it. We're not going to argue with it. We're just curious. Definitely interested to see another person's point of view. But this is definitely not going to ruin Halloween, one of our favorite holidays.
Yep. Got one more thing to discuss.
Uh-oh.
You know how I mentioned there were some things that happened during the previews that I wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
Because there are no original thoughts and everybody is just cashing in on nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Scream reboot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's like your worst nightmare, huh?
Now the characters are grown up and it's happening again.
Didn't they just come out with the Scream not long ago? Scream. Oh no, it was 2011. Jesus, where have I been?
But this is a Scream reboot, so it's going to be basically.
Oh, it's a reboot.
It's not reboot. It's like this was, where it's like, oh yeah, all that stuff happened in the past, and now we're grown up, and now it's happening again. Yeah. So we're going to bring back a lot of the original cast and just cash in on that. And I didn't like that movie to start with, and I don't like what horror is doing right now because I feel like it is taking things that I enjoy and then sucking all the good stuff out of them and just vomiting back this regurgitated nostalgia trip version of it. And I'm not into that.
Well, Scream is one of my more favorite horror films. I just really like it.
I know, and that's why I'm in a bad mood, because I know we're going to have to watch it, because you're going to want to talk about it, and so I will be seeing it. We both know this.
Well, I could also
say right now.
I'm petty enough to not watch something. You know me, man. I'll just not do something if someone tells me to. But let me counter this with some good news. What comes to your mind when I say nope?
When you say nope?
Nope.
Oh, Under the Skin.
Well, that's for damn sure, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, Nope is the next horror film that Jordan Peele is coming out with in July 2022. Oh. It's called Nope.
Okay.
Not much out about it.
Yeah.
As far as like what's it about, anything like that, but it was just announced. Well, it was announced in 2020, but I don't know where I've been. But we were watching Us because it's October and we're watching all our favorites, and we just watched Get Out, and so we had to watch Us. And I was like, I bet surely he's coming out with something else, you know. And I was kind of reading about him, and I looked, and I was like, oh my gosh! So this is also going to have Daniel Kaluuya.
Okay, cool.
In it.
Who is in
Get Out?
Get Out.
Keke Palmer and Stephen Yeun, I think, are all the ones who are like officially announced. So I'm totally looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Because what we're getting is the exact opposite of what we've been getting, which is like the Scream reboot kind of thing.
Like getting something original and new and fresh, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's hopeful that this will be the future, but we know we'll have to deal with, 20 years from now, I'm sure we'll have a reboot of Friday the 13th or Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever, but I'm looking really forward. And plus, I just really like the name of the film, Nope.
Yeah. Well, and that... I think one reason I was so frustrated with this one is because I really enjoyed the 2018 Halloween remake or whatever you want to call it. I thought that it was just a very well done movie, and it really honored everything that I liked about the original, and it kind of made it fresh, and it had the big budget, and it was just a good movie going experience. And then more recently, we've had both Candyman, which I thought of because you said Jordan Peele and he produced that one, Candyman, and then this, where it feels much more like not that. It feels like they're using those things as backdrops to sell movie tickets and then telling like a different type of story. But Hollywood was just like, yeah, if we just slap this name on it, it'll, get a lot more butts and seats and sell more tickets. And that's what's frustrating is it didn't really feel like it's treading any new ground. It just kind of feels like it's cashing in and then, trying to use that to tell a totally different type of story for which the focus is not horror. And so, yeah, that's just kind of sad for the genre.
I think the best way to explain it is like, this is like where I feel like this is where the term beating a dead horse comes from. You know what I mean? It's just like, we get it. Like, instead of but this is, it might just be like our like personalities or something. We're really similar, but it's like, instead of like farting around with like trying to, how can we make Scream better? How can we make Halloween better? It's like, no, let's come up with our own Halloween. Let's come up with our own Scream.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's a lot harder to do. And I'm saying that as someone who hasn't even come up with anything close to like granted, I haven't ever tried, but artistically speaking, it's just like, give it a damn shot instead of trying to be like, one, like don't be a cover band, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Be your own band out there. And that's something we have done, and we have tried, gave it the old college try on. And it's like, just do it. Just do your own damn thing. And use those as like influences instead of being influenced by one musician and making music like them. Be influenced by 100 musicians and combine them. And then you get something like Barty Strange.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what, like, if you listen to any band that you like, talk about what their favorite bands are, there's going to be a lot of things on that list that you're like, I don't like that. What, how did that lead to this? But like in their mind, it was like they were absorbing those influences and they were hearing things in all those different sources that like resonated with them. And then when they tried to emit like that same feel or vibe or whatever, it came out in this other way that was more like a outshoot of their own kind of skill set and talents and other pieces of their worldview and everything else. And so it came out as this totally different type of thing. And I feel like that's the cool thing about art and creativity is it passes through generations, and you have these kind of same ideas and stories and works of art that inspire so many completely different things. But then you have to wonder, like, would those have even existed without the thing that, inspired them? And that's just this cool, like, legacy. Whereas I don't feel like this movie was adding to the legacy of the Halloween movies. I feel like this was co-opting a bit. And anyway.
Well, and a prime example of that is, like, these Jordan Peele films. He obviously has horror influences. And
for sure.
It's like a nod to those that came before him, which is okay to do, but still the storyline is original, and so it's, obviously you want to appreciate where you came from and who got you there, even if it's like an influence of whatever, but, at the end of the day, it comes down to what I think, speaking for kind of both of us, that it's like, okay, well, now it's getting to the point where this is just after money. Like, you don't give a shit about the actual franchise. And that's where some of the frustration, and that's more of an aggressive tone. I don't think that that's 100% the case. I think they're still Halloween fans because it's such a good movie, the original. But, that's the kind of beef that I have here. And so when the things start unraveling in the film and you just like realize what's going down, it's just like everything just sucks at that point. It's like having a sore tooth.
Yeah.
Your food doesn't taste good. It sucks. That's what kind of happened with this. And do I think they can bounce back? I do. Because they are coming out with another one. It's called Halloween Ends. Which we both know that's not true.
Wikipedia says that it's described as a coming-of-age story and a more intimate movie where some of the characters have processed the insanity of the Circus of the Massacre of 2018, and not only that, but they've also processed the world as it spun so wildly in the last 4 years.
God, we'll have to watch it.
If that doesn't get you pumped up for a horror movie, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, all that said, happy Halloween, everyone. This is the day to watch Halloween movies, horror movies, scary movies, and to hang out with people that you like. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode and felt some sort of, I don't know, like you got some other people out here looking out for you and wishing you a good day. And that's it for today's episode. If you've listened this far, then thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed it. We're always looking for new ideas, so if you have any questions, comments, or movie suggestions, please send us an email at thehorrificpod@gmail.com, or feel free to comment on or message our Facebook page. Just search for The Horrific Podcast. Thanks for listening.